In this video, we are going to talk about what fondant and gum paste to use for character modeling, how to prepare and color them. When it comes to character modeling for cake decorating, we usually say that we make our characters with fondant, but the fact is, using fondant alone won't work. Or I should say, it won't give you the best result. We also need to use gum paste. Fondant is very malleable, that's why it's widely used to cover cakes. But fondant by itself won't get dry completely and get firm. So if you are using only fondant to make a figure, it won't hold its shape and it will also get wet and look sweaty after you place it on the cake because of the moisture. Gum paste or flower paste were designed specifically for modeling figures or flowers that need to dry and get very firm. So you may ask, can you use gum paste only for character modeling? The answer is yes. But you need to keep in mind that gum paste dries very quickly. So using gum paste only is very challenging because it gets dry too fast. And it may dry up before you complete all the parts for your subject. Therefore, the best way, at least for me, is to combine fondant and gum paste together. And the ratio is simple, just equal amount of both. This way, you have a paste that is easier to work with and will dry very firm. This is the type of fondant and gum paste I use. The brand really doesn't matter. When it comes to gum paste or flower paste, you just need to buy something that says ready to use. If it's labeled as gum paste mix, you will have to mix it yourself before you can use them. Now we need to prep these before we can start shaping them. To prep, you need to keep stretching and pulling them repeatedly, however long it takes for it to get into a smooth, moldable, and elastic form, kind of like a modeling clay. Gum paste is usually harder. You can tell that it's quite dry, so it will take longer to prep. As you can see, I'm wearing gloves when I prep the fondant and gum paste. I always do this so that I won't add any moisture into them. Your hand can get sweaty when working with fondant, and they can get sticky. If that happens, you can dust your hand with cornstarch or apply vegetable shortening to your hands. But if you do that too often, it might affect the consistency of the fondant and gum paste, so wearing gloves is the easiest and best way. Just be sure you get the powder-free gloves. So what's your option if you don't want to mix fondant and gum paste together? How do you get the fondant to dry and get very firm once it's dry? Well, remember I mentioned CMC in my previous video about materials and tools? This is where CMC will come in handy. You can mix a little bit of CMC in the fondant, and it will help the fondant to dry completely. Just add a pinch of it to the fondant. I can't give you the exact amount because it will depend on the humidity of the environment that you're working in. For this brand that I'm using, for this size of fondant, like a ping pong ball, I usually only need something like 1/4 of a teaspoon of CMC. So once you add it in, start the stretching and pulling process again to mix them well together. While working with fondant and gum paste, in order to make sure that they don't dry up too quickly, you will want to store the pieces that you are not using in a plastic bag. Be sure to get all the air out and close it tightly. This is also how I store fondant and gum paste after I took them out from their packaging. Now that the fondant is ready, we can color them. I'm going to show you how I make a light skin color. I have here ivory and peach color. Use a toothpick to get some color out and apply it to the paste. The best way is to always start with a very small amount of color and continue to add to it if you need more. I never buy any pre-colored fondant because those colors are always too intense. But I will buy black fondant though because it takes too much food color to get a solid black. And this is how we prep a fondant and gum paste for character modeling. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to model some basic shapes. Thanks for watching.